All right, space title fixed. Hopefully, we can get some people in here. Welcome forever. Welcome forever, Sammy. An amazing artist, actually. I've seen your work before, for sure. This is our first Maven Monday space, and I guess I'll give the intro for everybody listening as well. Welcome, everybody. Like I said, this is our first ever Maven space, so welcome. This will be a weekly space held every Monday at 5 p.m. UTC, where the team, me, Alex, Sam, we'll get together. We'll break down the Dapp. We'll talk about updates and hopefully get to know each other and you guys on a more personal level. Same thing I used to do with most of my spaces, right? Just a nice conversation between us, you guys, the community, and to keep us updated on what's going on with the community, as well as keeping you guys updated on what's going on with Maven. Um, so yeah, we'll go over a few things, but first, how are you guys doing? Sam, Alex, welcome. We have Alex behind the Maven account right here, and then we have Sam. We'll start with you, Alex.
Hello.
How you doing? How's your day?
Hey.
Doing good. Just getting up and running with the community building endeavors. First Maven space, exciting. Theo, this is our first space together on the same team, so that's quite a.
I know.
It's a welcome. It's different, but feels it's same but different.
I know, this is awesome. It feels so good to be, to be together again. Our conversations were always great in the previous spaces we did before. So this is going to be awesome and exciting to do this going forward as an official thing. And I know everybody, a couple people down here now, Jon Snow, Get Real, and Sammy. You guys have all been to my spaces before, so hopefully they're just going to get better and better from here.
You guys are incredibly cute, you and Alex together. It's going to be interesting to see.
Oh, no, I don't want to get in the way of you guys' relationship now. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, Sam. I don't want to step on your toes here.
That's why I have therapy.
Sam, well, how are you doing, man? What's going on in your life?
Doing good. I just moved to Dubai 2 weeks ago. It's adjusting to it. It's quite nice. Hopefully I'll finish all the bureaucratic stuff tomorrow or the day after. Enjoying life, dude.
That's really awesome. It's a big decision, I would imagine. What made you decide to move to Dubai?
Needed a break from where I was. Didn't want to go back to the US. And Alex was out here. Companies were migrating the company out here, kind of to build up the HQ here and focus on RWAs and the deals that are made possible out here. So it was kind of just like the right move.
Let's go. And you didn't want to come move out here, come out here with me, play in the snow, in the 2 feet of
how
snow.
much snow you had, and I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, we're buried right now. So I'll just say that up top as well. If listeners, if and people who are here and people who are listening to recording, if I drop off of the space at all, it's because all of the power lines around me are covered in 2 feet of snow right now. So yeah, we'll wish me luck and we'll just get through it.
On the flip side, Theo, Sam and I went out to go get some exercise, and we kind of went for a brisk walk along the beach in shorts. So
I know it's not fair.
I almost have forgotten what winter is like.
Yeah, man, I almost forgot what summer's like at this point. Jesus, it was a long fall. Like the seasons are shifting, so this, I would say winter has like officially just started as of like January. But it was kind of like sweater fall weather for most of the year last year. So I don't know. You win some, you lose some.
Well, talk to me in 3 months when you can't walk outside without like schwitzing your ass off. So.
Oh my God, with the humidity, yeah. I'm inside year round. I'm inside.
Yeah. So. Wow, guys! Yeah, Maven's first Twitter space. We're excited to get this started. Excited to expand the team. Excited to really set things up in the UAE. There's really two major hubs for crypto out there in the world. One of them is Dubai, obviously, and the other one is Singapore. Dubai being, in my opinion, a little bit better conditions for living. easier regulation just for day-to-day life, and then also being a great hub for the rest of the world. So it's, something like 6 hours to Europe, 6 hours to Asia, 16 hours to go see my mom. So obviously she's not the happiest about that, but it's a remarkable place to be here. You can expand. There's proactive regulations, and so we're excited for this. And being part of expanding what we're doing is getting the platform to market and some other fun goodies that we can't get into. But this space is going to be all about Maven Finance. We can explain to the community what we've built, what is coming along the way, the intricacies of it, because it's not just stake and earn. We built a fully fledged, I like to call it a co-op, like a cooperative, where the members of the organization help run it and own it. AKA in crypto terms, it's a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. We'll get into all the nooks and crannies and nuances of it. But what I do want to say is, and I've said this the entire way through, is we are not launching a simple, well, here are 2 contracts and it technically allows you to lend and it technically allows you to borrow. But it is a fully fledged banking co-op from the top down by day one. So with that being said, let's dive into it.
Yeah, I can truly attest to this now, as of really being part of the team and digging into everything here behind Maven. It's a lot. It is definitely a fully built out system. Yeah, it's going to be crazy, and I'm excited to dive into it. Before we do, though, I wanted to touch on the name change real quick. Mavryk has switched over to Maven. So while we're live here in the space, what was the inspiration behind that, and where did the new name come from?
So we wanted to get a hold and grasp on one of the things that I think is a little bit of an overlooked entity on what was Maverick Finance, and that is of the oracles that we have. We don't rely on Harbinger, which is a centralized oracle. We don't rely on Chainlink. But we've actually built in our own oracle system into our own node network. And so the bank incentivizes nodes to build and work and provide data and get paid for it. So the name Maven actually comes from an old Hebrew term, which comes from the word Mavin, which is an expert or an expert person in their craft. And so we thought, what better word for a banking system that relies on its own in-house data than Maven? It's a DAO banking system that is an expert at its craft. It's built in formally verifiable code. It's more secure. It's on point with the right data. And, it's better than, we didn't want to name it after any fruits as well. So we think the name's on point.
I totally agree. And I love the new name. And jumping into the space, I pinned up top, everybody is a thread about the very first pin. It's a kind of like an all-encompassing thread. What is Maven? What is all the features? And that's what we'll kind of be using as a guide to go through the platform here in the space. And then hopefully sometime in the future, Alex, I'd love to get one of you guys in a live chat, do like a stream and actually go over the site live. Hopefully Twitter allows us to do that soon in the future. I bet they will.
I'm a little disappointed we can't do this walkthrough, like a first Twitter space, while walking through the Dapp so people can actually see firsthand what we've built. We'll have to do some form of Zoom call and just invite everybody over Google Meets and do step-by-step flows.
It's called streaming, Alex. We'll just do a stream.
Yeah, I feel like
games. Send to Apple. We'll do a stream.
So here's the thing: if we do a stream, I didn't mean to talk about this in the space, but it's fun, and it includes everybody else here. We're gonna if we do a stream, not only can we stream it to different platforms like Twitch, Kick's the new one, or YouTube. I think is the one that's going to beat them all. There's also it allows you to stream to Twitter directly. but you have to be streaming, right? It's not like a space held on Twitter. So we'll try something out in the future. But yeah, so like you were saying, Alex, Maven itself, it's like its own ecosystem. I hesitate to call it like its own like little mini blockchain, but it almost kind of works like one, right? Like it's just the easiest thing that makes it in my head. And it includes many features like yield farms, multi-collateral vaults, loans, MVN tokens, and staking. And so that's as well as satellites, oracles, the council, the governance. It's absolutely crazy. So let's take this one step at a time. And I think that a good jumping off point would be the MVN token and what it is.
Yeah, so the MVN token is to jump right into it. The MVN token is the lifeblood and the heart of Maven Finance. It's a DAO, and so everything kind of revolves around communal guidance. The MVN token is used primarily, essentially, to secure the network and also secure the oracles and secure the lending. So, how it basically works is we've built out this entire governance module for how the DAO operates. And because essentially the way it works with DAOs, and everybody is always like, oh, this token gives you governance rights, and that's why it has value. But the problem with that is that everybody wants to own your token, and no one actually bothers to do the voting. And so we figured, okay, well, let's take a look at other governance mechanisms in both in crypto and in real life and in actual governments. And representative government seems to be something that functions pretty much. I mean, depending on how you structure the rules, representative governments works pretty well, better than direct governance. And so, how it works is a user will stake their MVN tokens and delegate their voting rights to a satellite node. These satellite nodes are similar to validators, and Theo, I think this is where your comment came in on, like a mini blockchain. But the satellite nodes are like validators of a blockchain. They have similar rules but different. So a satellite will essentially vote on governance of the business banking platform on behalf of its users and then on behalf of its delegates. So whether it comes to governance, treasury deployments, business logic, it's like a decentralized board of directors. And then the satellite nodes will also sign the price feeds for a decentralized oracle. So they have these two rules where a validator on a blockchain will vote on governance and then also settle blocks. A satellite on Maven will vote on governance, but then also sign the price feeds for a decentralized oracle. So even if one satellite goes down, governance can still go through, the same way with validators. And even if a satellite goes down, the data still comes across. So, because there's other satellites that are providing this data as well from a decentralized source of data providers. And so that's the high level version of the MVN token. I'm going to pause here, Theo, so you can chime in because I know you've got something to say about the staking and unstaking with MVN.
Yeah, actually. Well, I was going to lead into satellites after, but you gave a quick little introductory to it. But yeah, sticking back to MVN. So users acquire this, they stake it, and then they can delegate. Now, why would they do that? Besides security and Oracle and all the stuff that you should care about, but why else should users stake their MVN? Like, what is the point of buying? Why should I buy it?
So when users stake their MVN tokens, they earn rewards from multiple different places of the platform. When a satellite signs price feeds for the Oracle, they get paid in the well, actually, Theo, you know what? Let's dive a little bit into MVN and sMVN, so the users don't get confused when I just kind of throw out the term. When you stake MVN, you get something called sMVN, which is staked MVN. The MVN token is the token that is out there in your wallet. It can be traded on the DEX. It can be used to be borrowed against. It is the tradable version of the Maven Finance platform. When you stake it, you then get sMVN, which is locked in the platform, and you hopefully delegated to a satellite. So satellites, when they sign price feeds, they get rewarded in sMVN tokens. And just the same way that Chainlink nodes get rewarded in Link, so a Chainlink node will essentially pay gas fees in ETH, and then they will earn Link as a reward. So they are the Link they earn pays them back, remunerates them for their gas fees that they spend in Ethereum, and then also their profits for actually running the nodes. In Maven Finance, the satellites earn sMVN, the staked version of Maven, for their profits. We changed well, this is getting really deep into satellites, so I'll pause here on the satellite side. But essentially, when users stake their MVN tokens and delegate them to a satellite, just like with a validator, they earn sMVN based on how much their satellite earns. They earn sMVN for governance decisions, because governance decisions are paid, there are rewards for them. And they also earn from something called the Mavryk loyalty index. So when you unstake your MVN, you pay a fee depending on how many MVN are locked or sMVN are locked. And it's on there's a graph on the site that you can see. But the short gist of it is, the more MVN, the more sMVN that is locked in the network, the less MVN that is circulating. The Maven loyalty index, sorry. So the more sMVN that's locked, the less MVN that's out there in the network, the lower the fee will be. The more MVN that's liquid and circulating on dexes, and the less sMVN that is locked, the higher the exit fee will be. And that exit fee is not paid into the DAO treasury, because all the profits of the lending and borrowing go to the DAO treasury. They don't get paid to us as a dev team. The Maven loyalty index fees are actually paid out to everybody else who remains staked in the system. So the longer you remain staked, the more you earn from the MLI. So as long as people, like, it could be 5%, it could be 10%, it could be 2%. The more you earn, the longer you remain locked, the more proportionally you earn. So if you own 1% of the total tokens of the system, you will earn 1% of all the MLI fees that are paid out. So there's a plethora of ways that MVN stakeholders get paid.
That's awesome. I wanted you to touch on a few of them, right? But I'm going to pause MVN right there, because, now everybody understands, who's listening, why this is going to be a weekly space, right? Because we could talk about just probably MVN, for the rest of the remainder of the time, and not even cover, the majority of it. Like, it's there's a lot to it. And now everybody gets what I was saying with my comment too. Like, it's its own ecosystem within an ecosystem. It's really, really cool. But satellites, you gave a small introduction to them. So why should someone become a satellite?
So becoming a satellite, you essentially, you get paid. I mean, people like getting paid. It's a typical incentive structure of capitalism. And so the reason why someone will become a satellite, there are altruistic reasons. I mean, you want to make sure that this investment you made into MVN has the right governance. You want a say in governance, a say in the beginning, in the future of the DAO and the platform, the lending, the business logic, etc. But there's another reason as well, is you want to provide let's say, a validator node for other blockchains. You're a node for Chainlink or other Oracle systems, and it's your business to run node software and get paid for it. So our satellites are paid for the work that they put into to secure the network by providing price feeds, and also for the work they do in their governance decisions. The governance votes are remunerated, but they are paid less than the Oracle price feeds. That is the top tier of importance there. But so there's an altruistic side to it. However, altruism doesn't pay the bills. So there's a cash flow positivity side to being a satellite.
I guess a better question I was just thinking would be, how do we become a satellite, and what does it mean? Like, what does it mean for the community? I guess you probably said it, most of it right there, right? You are supplying the Oracle data, the security, right? And maybe we should pause real quick and just quickly explain what an Oracle is, right? Because me and you are notorious for talking about Oracles when nobody really knows what they are, right? And I like to see it as my best explanation for it was, Oracle. The easy if you Google an Oracle right now, it's the superhero name of Batgirl after she was shot in the back and went in a wheelchair. And her job was just to feed. Her only job was to feed Batman information and keep him up to date on the mission. And that's that's literally what an Oracle does. So when you become a satellite, you are kind of you're becoming that person in a chair, which is really cool. And then
I was gonna go with they help you bend spoons, but I guess we're watching different cult classics.
They help you bend spoons. Yeah, it's true too. See the future. That the Batgirl one is the best way I found to explain it. But getting back to satellites, how do we become a satellite, and what does it mean for the community to be one?
Yeah, so it's actually really easy to become a satellite. All you have to do is have enough MVN tokens staked, and you can become a satellite. It's a relatively easy process. We're still working out the final number, but it shouldn't. It's not too high. So essentially, the same way that you would stake your MVN and delegate to a satellite, instead of that's actually a two-stage process. You stake your MVN and then you delegate to a satellite. Where when you become a satellite, you stake your MVN in the system and then you register a satellite on the website. And we actually we have built. Sam can touch into this on it because God bless his soul for the labor that he's put into this. But we've built an entire UI UX for registering your satellite, editing your data, all the satellite information, all the views, everything. So that's how you become a satellite. I can dive into the nooks and crannies a little bit about it. There is an element when you register your satellite, it allows you to vote on governance and that entire governance role. And then you have to set up the actual Oracle system, which is typically done on a cloud server or hardware, but it's going to be released as a later expansion for the hardware, like if you're running like a Raspberry Pi, for example. So you essentially, the steps to become a satellite are stake your MVN, register as a satellite, and then set up the Oracle software. Technically, you could vote in governance without running the Oracle software, but the brunt of your earnings come from running an Oracle. Sam, you can dive into the UI UX actually, because it's this is really where I wish we can share this on screen.
Are we doing a dive to UI UX for just satellites becoming satellites now, or?
Yeah, and then real quick, just before you go into it, Sam, Breeze. Oh, okay, he's up. All right, there we go. Okay, go ahead, Sam.
Oh, okay. Actually, I have to do this. Yeah, guys. Once you stake your MVN, you'll find there's actually a very intricate and easy to use dashboard for satellites to view all the satellites, view all the data feeds that are currently active, and eventually also to submit your own data feeds for other satellites to sign as the Oracle price feeds. You'll also you'll see appear on your sidebar the button to become a satellite, and there you can just fill out some basic info. It makes sure that you've staked enough. You can upload a picture. Please be responsible when you upload pictures, guys. Don't be crypto G-gens. Put a website, and
all right, I'm deleting
testnet. On testnet, it's disabled to become an Oracle, but there you'll have the ability to register to become an Oracle and start signing price feeds. We actually said it. This turns into governance, the whole discussion that I don't think we had time for tonight, but there's a very low bar to be accepted as to sign the price feeds, and there's a very high bar to be kicked out. Let's say you're acting as a bad actor as a satellite. So there is it's a tiny bar to be approved, which is minuscule, and then just act with in good behavior and be fair, and you won't have to be voted out through governance.
Awesome. And then we have Breeze Blocks coming up as well to ask us a question on it. And then and then we should probably talk about, like, we have a whole lending side to the platform, which I think is pretty key that I want to dive into as well, right? Satellites, that's a whole nother space we could do just on satellites. So maybe we'll make you guys a schedule, right? And post it up somewhere and let you guys know when we're doing full deep dives on one single aspect. But in the meantime, Breeze Blocks, go right ahead with your question.
Yeah, sorry.
Welcome, by the way.
Yeah, welcome. Hello. Sorry if it's loud, I'm at work, but I have a question. I'm assuming with the satellites is kind of like I think you might have said it's kind of like running a node, let's say. If that's so, what kind of hardware requirements or bandwidth requirements are you looking at? Someone interested in participating?
Breeze, welcome on. It's been a while, man. I'm sorry about that, but I also could barely hear you. Theo, if you heard him, can you repeat it? Or Breeze, can you repeat it?
Yeah, I just turned captions on. Everybody turned captions on. Yeah, your signal's a little weak, Breeze, but go ahead. I should be able to hear you now that I know.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah. I actually heard you better. I actually heard you better, to be honest with you.
Okay, hold on. I'm just going to put the microphone to my mouth. But what's the hardware requirements we looking at for someone who wants to participate as a satellite? If that's sounds like a node operator to a degree, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly like a node operator. Go ahead. You guys have probably have a better answer for that.
Well, Sam, I don't think we've actually tested it on hardware, but it shouldn't be anything too. It's not going to be anything too heavy. Right now, we've been running them on cloud servers, just because it's super easy to do when your team is decentralized across the entire world. Up until Sam moved here, we really didn't have two people in the same country. But right now we've been running it on AWS, and our costs are extremely low. So
it's a very minuscule load. Shouldn't be too much. It's we should be able to get it running on a Raspberry Pi. Can't promise. We do have to adjust the package to actually work on Raspberry Pi. Right now, it's not coded for that, but it should be a Raspberry Pi should be able to handle it once we have it converted.
Yeah, these are the big brain questions, right? That are a little beyond me personally, but I can stand in for the average person here. And yeah, so and say you're just feeding data and stuff like that. What does that truly mean? Sending Oracle data, is it as big as a package as, say, sending blockchain data? That is all. That's actually a very good question. Will we all be able to be satellites on our phones? Like, these are all very good questions, actually, that I want the answer to. Don't get me wrong.
On your phone, I'm not sure just yet. I mean, look, let's get it running on some mini hardware first, and we're using DigitalOcean, so it's right now it's working fine.
I guess.
Yeah, we've built out this entire massively decentralized system, and so decentralization is a spectrum, but we just have to get it running. There's so much more to build, but it should be able to run on a Raspberry Pi once we get there. But yeah, when you're talking about what are the Oracle prices used for, and I think that Theo, I think that's a great segue for the lending side of this, because it's not enough that we're just paying people to provide Oracle data. That Oracle data has to have a business model attached to it. There has to be some form of revenue that comes in order to produce that data, right? We're not just like yield farming for the sake of yield farming, or paying Oracle providers for the sake of paying them. So those Oracle price feeds are actually used to determine the prices of all of the collateral in our lending and borrowing. So when you deposit assets as collateral into a vault in order to take a loan, the vault understands essentially how much your Bitcoin, your L1 tokens, your other tokens are worth, because the Oracle feeds it data. So blockchains are really smart systems, but they don't know, they don't have outside data on them. So it knows you might have 20 tokens in there. It knows the name of the token, but it doesn't necessarily know how much that token is worth in terms of fiat value. And so our satellite oracles feed that data into the Maven Finance platform, specifically for the lending and borrowing. So if you put in 1 Bitcoin, it'll know that Bitcoin's worth, well, happily to say this as of the last hour, $43,000. And depending on what your collateral's worth, then it could trigger liquidation, or you can borrow more, etc. So the Oracle system in a decentralized network for lending and borrowing is vitally crucial to security.
That is a great segue. And before we jump into lending and all the just frankly cool stuff about it on Maven, Breeze, I want to make sure that we didn't fumble our answer too much, right? So right now we're testing. We're on GhostNet. Is this something? The hardware requirements is that something we can test on GhostNet, or is that something we have to wait till we're like up and actually running?
We could test it on GhostNet. That's fine. It runs on a Raspberry Pi. Like we have it. We have a Docker version that we've checked on running on that kind of those specs, and yeah, it'll be fine. No problem.
Let's go. Hopefully that was a good answer for you, Breeze. Yeah. What are the spec requirements? Good question. Very simple question, and one we probably should have been better. I wish we had a better answer for, but that's good. It runs on a Pi, and yeah, we want to make sure people can get in and be satellites, right? And make sure they know what they need to do it. So we're going to have a space on just satellites as well, and we'll go into the deep dive requirements of what you need during that space. That'll be a good thing to do. And then
Theo, just to sum it up for now, just like a cloud service provider, and a very low cost one at that.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's a simple answer for now. That's the way it's going to work most likely at launch. We're eventually going to be able to use it on a Raspberry Pi, but for now it's a cloud service provider.
Awesome. And yeah, Jon Snow, Crypt King, if you guys have any questions on this stuff, feel free to comment down below. Come up if you want to come up, right? Yeah, and we plan on opening up the floor to you guys here maybe in like 10 minutes or so. So yeah, feel free to come up if you guys want to hang out and ask any questions about what we're talking about. And in the meantime, lending is like, in my opinion, kind of like the bread and butter of Maven. So tell us, I guess, just a jumping off point. Tell us about lending. You can, so I can lend and borrow my assets. What assets? And yeah, what tell us about this.
So the majority of lending on almost every single DeFi platform are stablecoins. Technically, they allow you to lend every other shitcoin till kingdom come, but like something like 98% of lending and borrowing is being done on either the native L1 token of that chain or a stablecoin. And so that's what we're doing. We've essentially limited it at the outset to native L1 tokens and stable coins. However, since it's a DAO and everything runs by governance, technically the DAO and satellites at that can vote in any other form of asset to be lent or borrowed or to be used as collateral for that matter. So when someone when we actually rebuilt our lending side to be more easily useful, and we called it earn instead of lend, because it just ended up being like one click, stake, deposit, and you're earning. So when a user comes, there are two users in this journey. So there are lenders, people who want to save money. They have assets, they've got extra USDT, and they want to earn something on it. They don't want it to just sit there. The Fed's sending the value of the dollar to zero, and so they want to put their money to work. So they go to Maven Finance, they click deposit and earn, and they basically deposit their USDT into a lending pool. This lending pool is, again, a smart contract, is decentralized, and there are rules as to how a borrower can come in and borrow from that lending pool. So now let's say on the flip side, you have a bunch of assets and you want to borrow against it. So you've got, I'll start simple, you've got one Bitcoin. Bitcoin's ran up since you bought it. And so you want to borrow against that value without having to sell, because then you'd have to pay capital gains tax. And then you lose out against the value of Bitcoin if it continues to rise. So you deposit your Bitcoin, you create a vault, which is a smart contract unique to your wallet only. And you essentially deposit your Bitcoin into that vault and then can borrow up to 50% loan to value, as we call it, a collateralization ratio. So it's the flip side of that value, but 200% collateral to loan. But you can borrow, if Bitcoin's at 40K, you can borrow up to $20,000. And so all the loans on Maven are backed with collateral to secure the loan. And the USDT that they're borrowing is coming from the lending pool that people deposited to earn yield on. So when a borrower repays his loan, that interest that they pay gets paid out to lenders.
So tell us about the pool. What is this pool that the USDT comes from, and why is there an incentive? Why are people putting it in this pool? Is there an incentive? Is it a requirement to lend or borrow?
It's not. Unlike a bunch of other lending platforms, you do not need to supply liquidity to the. We don't require you to first deposit liquidity into the lending pools in order to borrow as collateral. So a lot of the lending platforms, if you want to go in and borrow, you actually have to supply liquidity straight to the lending pools. We don't require you to do that. You can do that if you want to, and I'll get into that in a second. But you can simply go open a vault, deposit collateral into your unique vault, and your collateral just sits there. I wouldn't call it so capital efficient, but it is. We allow our users to make that decision to just capitalize their vault and borrow against it. On the flip side, if the user wants to earn on that asset, and let's say, because DeFi is money Legos, right? You stake something here, you earn something there, you yield it there, you move it there. So you can actually take your collateral, your Bitcoin, for example, deposit it into like a Bitcoin lending pool. In return, well, Theo, we have to go into this about mTokens, but in return, you get an LP token, like a receipt token, called MBTC, and then you can use that MBTC, which is earning yield, deposit that into a vault and use it as collateral. So unlike other platforms that require you to supply liquidity, which opens you up to, obviously it's an unspoken thing, but there's counterparty risk when you lend. Maven Finance allows you to either deposit liquidity and then borrow, or just deposit straight into your vault without lending to the pool. It's your choice as a user.
Side note there real quick, if collateral tokens and tokens that are able to be deposited as collateral and the loan tokens are all ones that are chosen through governance. So for instance, MBTC, which is the BTC you get after the paired token that you get when you deposit BTC the BTC into the pool, that has to be voted in through governance as an option to be used as collateral in the vaults. It's not just automatically we can decide that you can use it as collateral. So all of these are chosen through governance, and on launch we're going to actually have a few that are launched with ready to go, so we don't have to go through the whole governance process to actually add them.
Yeah, just a few things to go in there. So Maven uses mTokens, which is a receipt LP token. So if you deposit USDT into, it's kind of like a code check. You go put in your code at a bar or a restaurant, and then you get a little kind of like a receipt in return, literally a token sometimes with a number on it. So when you deposit USDT into a lending pool, you get a token called MUSDT, which represents your deposit for a one-to-one basis. If you have 100 MUSDT, you can withdraw 100 USDT from the pool. Or if you deposit BTC, you get 1 MBTC back in return. And then you can use that M token as collateral if you'd like to borrow.
Is it fair to say that they're wrapped assets? Because I think people in DeFi anyway have experience with, say, like WBTC or eBTC was the previous platform I worked for used. So
No.
Is it a wrapped asset?
No. It is a mirror asset.
Interesting.
So when you deposit a token into one of the liquidity pools, you are then minted a mirror token, MUSDT. If you deposit USDT, you're you are automatically minted one of those to your wallet. And also when rewards are given, rewards are actually minted straight into your wallet. So you don't actually have to claim those rewards. They're minted straight to you. Because when people pay back interest, and interest is then paid back to the liquidity pool, you get a share of that. And that is, instead of having to claim or have that sent out to everyone else, it's just minted and straight to your wallet and everyone else's wallet as well.
Yeah. It's probably more similar. I mean, Sam used a great term, mirror asset. In crypto world, people like it's almost like you stake your assets there. You get an LP token, and then you can go do something with that LP token. So it is very similar to a staked asset.
That's very interesting, and I could ask 100 more questions about it and we could keep talking about this. There's so much to this platform, so I just want to summarize and say, yeah, this was our first space. Just kind of like just touching on the different things that Maven has to offer, the things that you can try out on the GhostNet right now, and play with it. And we'll be coming back. We'll be doing these weekly and just diving into each individual thing and trying to answer as many questions as possible. And with that being said, I want to welcome Klick to the stage. Klick, it's been a while since we talked to you, man. So welcome. It's good to see you. Yeah. So welcome. And yeah, at this point, we're going to be going for maybe another like 15 minutes or so and wrap up. So, the floor is open to you guys. If you have any questions, if you just want to hang out, talk about your day, I'm with that as well. So yeah, go ahead, Klick.
Well, Klick. One quick thing as you start here, I got to say this is really interesting because when these Twitter Spaces started, Klick was doing a lot of these Twitter Spaces on Tezos, and Theo was doing a lot of these Twitter Spaces on Tezos, and then for a period of time, I don't know how many of you guys know this before, but the two of you know it. I thought Klick and Theo were the same person. To the point,
I forgot about that. Yeah.
To the point where I bought Theo the Tezos domains handle. I am Theo, not Klick, because I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that they were two different people.
I think I still own that. But welcome, Klick. Welcome, man.
It's like standard, like average looking white dudes. Yeah, probably pretty easy to like get mixed up. But no,
it's not a Zoom.
What's that?
He said he wants to start using Zoom. We definitely gotta get some faces in here eventually, like our real faces. It'll be good for us.
Yeah, for sure. So you guys are what chain are you guys on now? Are you your own L1 at this point, or what was that process looking like when you were like uncoupling from Tezos?
Look, it's a delicate situation, as you're probably aware of. When we started Maven Finance, part of what we wanted to do is go into essentially turning to into like almost a form of a mortgage bank. And so STOs, the security token offerings, as they were called back then, they were really supposed to take off back in the day, and they didn't. And now the field is moving towards real world assets, which is essentially just STOs rebranded. And it's always been our.
There's like significant liquidity in the STO stuff, right? I remember seeing like a number one time, and I was like, that sounds like an absurd amount. But I don't really we don't really see it as like like Twitter denizens and shit like that. Like, is that still the case, or is that because I thought Tezos was like a popular destination for that type of stuff. But I don't want to distract from the main point too much. I was just curious overall, like where you guys are at right now and all that.
It's fine. It's a question we've been getting a lot lately, and it's a question that it's been obviously something that, as you are aware, for in different reasons, we have to be delicate around. When it comes to STOs, I mean, the most popular one that was on that chain was the Aspen coin. I'm not 100% sure, although interestingly enough, Stefan DeBeets, the CEO and founder of Elevated Returns, just had, God, what was his name? Super famous snowboarders, sign like a bunch of
Sean
snowboards for
White.
people. Yes, thank you. Sign a bunch of snowboards with a German Shepherd on it for people who own the Aspen token. And so when it comes to liquidity on chain, most of that liquidity is not really available because it's technically tokenized, but it's not tradable. And so it's just using the chain essentially as a digital backend, kind of a cap table management platform. There's no marketplace that trades. There's no place to access it. There is a new exchange called Reserve. I'm not sure. I haven't been able to spend some time looking into it yet. That's also from Elevated Returns. The RWA space is typically tending to gravitate more towards Ethereum and Avalanche, so a more EVM side of things. You haven't really seen it take off so much. There is Lofty on Algorand, but they've only tokenized about $30 million worth of single family homes. So, but not to beat around the bush, Klick, because everyone's asking this, and obviously we've been a little quiet on it. Essentially, we're expanding our operations so that we could become the most effective and sustainable path forward for Maven Finance, the DAO, our team, and the vision that we had at the outset of becoming a mortgage bank, and an STO, RWA lending bank. And so, this expansion is essentially being guided by this like a commitment to this innovation. And so obviously we need to, let's say, choose a path that is the most beneficial for Maven Finance, the DAO, our early contributors, the team. And so when we have more to share in terms, because like transparency is extremely important to us. That's why we built everything on chain. The contracts are apparent. They're on the page. Like we put them in a corner because you don't need the contract status in your face at all, like the contract name in your face at all times, so you can access it. But as soon as we have a chosen path forward, we're obviously going to tell all of our communities and everybody moving forward. So stay tuned, and you'll know soon enough.
Very cool. And I didn't know what I wasn't trying to like get you to say shit that you didn't want to say. I was just genuinely curious. Yeah, it's been a while since we've chatted.
Oh yeah, no problem. Like it's a tough question, and like you said, everybody's asking it, and I'm glad we got to answer it with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Klick, there's no worries. Everybody's been asking. Everybody wants a direct answer, and just not beating around the bush. Dapps and DAOs and dev teams need to be able to survive. And so with the vision of where we want Maven Finance to go, we are expanding to serve that role. And so
absolutely. Like I don't know. Like me personally, like I'm like I don't know. I'm pretty bearish on a lot of the going ons that have been taking place in Tezos recently. Like I was really disappointed to see that like Marigold is getting the axe, let alone like and then I think like Tezos Berlin last year as well. They had some like they actually had a GitHub repo I was trying to like play around with, and then it's just like the team's not even there anymore. And I don't know, there's just a number of things that have been uh surprising to me, I guess. I don't know. I thought that you'd think like the core dev stuff. I mean, maybe not 100% of them all the time, but like Marigold, I figured was pretty much in the same tier as like Nomadic, as far as I was concerned. Like, I've met a lot of the Marigold team. I've met a lot of the Nomadic team as well, and like, there's a lot of really fucking smart people over there, and it's I don't know. I don't see the I don't know. This it is what it is at this point, but like, yeah, I would it would make me wary too of like not don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I love Tezos. It's always kind of gonna be one of my like my home chains or whatever. But it's and dude, oh, and then like not the other like I find this absolutely heinous is that the fact that they let I mean code crafting can like do whatever he wants, right? Like no one's gonna like actually tell him what to do, but like like if there's like rumblings of code crafting like leaving the ecosystem for another chain or whatever, like no one's like a god or anything, but like you have, who there's not many people. There's probably no one, maybe one or two people who have like are in the same category as code crafting in terms of like skill set and like actual product shipped and just like overall ecosystem contributions. It's wild. Um
Yeah,
and
I think.
Well,
yeah.
Well, hold
yeah,
on.
I
I
wanted
think
to
we
shine.
should jump on
Yeah.
a call. Yeah, you should hop on a call with us, Klick, and talk to us, just off space. And yeah, it's crazy. And I'm starting to notice just recently, like I started game development this year, like trying to make my own mobile games and stuff. And I'm doing a lot more research into that whole community of people and just startups, tech startups, whether it's Web3, gaming, Web2. It's a very cutthroat industry to be in. So, like Alex said, we just gotta do our best
Oh,
to make
bro,
sure we make the right choices.
you're telling me, dude. I for a year and a half, I like poured my heart and soul into fucking DNS, and
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah. I
yeah,
never even asked what happened
pretty
or anything.
unceremoniously axed, essentially. I thought that was, at one point I was told I was gonna. Yeah, I don't know. We can cook offline. We don't need to get into it.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of catching up we could do offline for sure. Just between the five of us, even six of us. Jon Snow, don't he hops up sometimes. Jon Snow, we like having you in the conversation. But yeah, everybody here, I'm sure we have a lot to say on it. But we are getting what we got
Well,
about a couple more minutes of the space. Is yeah.
Oh, okay. I have a Maven question then.
yeah.
I have a
Yeah,
Maven
go
Well,
ahead.
question.
actually, Klick, I just got one thing first. Well, besides the fact that Code Crafting is an absolutely remarkable human being and developer, um, is he has announced that he got a job somewhere else on another chain. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Crunchy doesn't pay the bill. So if you kind of like read the writing on the wall, you know, I've made it a point to just not go into the politics of it anymore. I did enough when I used to work for them, and I did enough when I didn't work for them, and I just decided to avoid politics and build. And I found that my mental health has been a lot better. But
yeah. Isn't that the thing though? Like it's like the longer you're around, the deeper you kind of get like embedded into the ecosystem. The more like the more and more impossible it seems to like avoid like fucking drama and having to play like the politics game at least on some level. And like it's crazy. Like I don't have time or the energy to like give it to give to like drama and shit. But like even when yeah, I don't know. We'll have to yeah, well, let's set up a call, man.
What's yeah? What's the
Klick,
what's the
off
Maven
chain, off
question?
chain
Yeah,
calls.
yeah,
What's the
yeah.
Maven question?
What are the like what kind of hardware requirements are you guys looking at for to run like the most kind of like basic node or thing,
Good question.
part of the Maven network? Like if I want to like spin up a node or something, or like run validators or whatever, if that's I don't know what I can't remember what the model is like
Maven
that for you guys,
Finance,
but
for Maven Finance to run a node, you're referring to running a satellite and
yeah,
participating in
yeah.
governments, and possibly also signing Oracle price feeds, which is for the Oracle price feeds. That's the one where you're actually going to have to spin up some hardware. You can either run it on a cloud server, which is we do it. That's where we're running the 5 that we have currently operating on GhostNet. It's relatively cheap, actually. It doesn't require much. We also it can also be handled easily on a Raspberry Pi. Like
Oh, okay. So
it's like nothing.
basically anything.
Yeah, it's like nothing at all.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Also, Klick, just to keep in mind, like we're running 5 on a cloud server, and it's pretty damn cheap. And
Do you know if
eventually,
the
we're
free do you know if the free tier of AWS it can handle that? Because I have like, I don't know, I've been messing around with AWS a little bit, and I have like another several months worth of time or credit or whatever. I think I don't know how it all works out, but I'm not really doing much with it. So
I don't know, but I can ask tomorrow on our Dev Daily, and I can get
It
back to you.
depends on yeah, Klick. I'll hit you up with the stats. It depends on how many price feeds there are because AWS is per the amount of requests also and the traffic. So it really depends on how many price feeds you're signing for and how many different data sources you're calling from. But the
okay,
more the cost of the one of the major costs of oracles will be the different APIs that these satellites have to subscribe to, and then they write that data onto the chain and through the process. Like there's Masari, CoinGecko, I forget what the other one is, and CoinMarketCap API and other places. So like that is the actual heavier cost out of all of it, I think.
yeah, that's kind of that makes sense, but it also is kind of like I don't know. We should. It sucks that because that's like if that's the limiting factor, then it's just like a money game, right? Like it's not really like a
Yeah,
technical thing. It's just
it's
like gatekeeping
it's
in a
really
way.
just that's really more the for those specific price feeds. We could find other ones that we want to use and use those, no problem. And the oracles also aren't limited just to prices of cryptocurrencies. We can do of different fiat currencies too. We can do for sports
Super
betting.
Bowl,
Yeah, Super Bowl sports betting. That's also something we could have on. Like
bullish.
the oracles are
Yeah,
fully
Click.
the
I'm sure I talked about it you in the past. Like I want oil. Maybe metals, but metals people don't really talk about. You can get gold and silver and stuff, but I want like those precious metals. You know what I mean? I want cool stuff. Yeah, I'm totally into RWAs. We can go a whole nother hour on that.
oh save it for a different space, Theo. Chill out.
Yeah.
Got me excited.
What
Yeah,
about
Klick.
like one last question? What about like can you get price feeds for like various like derivative types of things? Like I don't know, like do you get like a Bitcoin ETF
Find me
type of thing
find
or
me
something?
find me two API endpoints that I can hook up to the software, and you'll have a price feed for it.
Oh, okay. Right
Let's
on.
Like
go.
that's what it needs to be. It's we use 3 as a minimum for the API. Find those and then different ones, and then we can use them because it takes that data and from the 3 of them, and then averages it out and makes sure that everything's on track.
And
Nice.
like you said, this is all. Oh, go ahead, Click. Go ahead. I didn't mean to talk over you.
So it's still possible to get me to like 1,000x Bitcoin leverage trading or something like that if we got the we got the right endpoints somehow. Like
Yeah, which actually led me
Um,
into my question. It's all so it's voted on, right? So what the data that you go with the DAO and the DAO votes on what we represent, right? So it's all about that. And I guess the big question would be, is there actually a spot where we could all converse and talk about the stuff that we want to get up? Like so Klick can shill ETF, BTC and convince everybody that that's what we should do. Where would everybody go to converse on this stuff?
go to our Discord, guys, or our Telegram chat.
Let's go. And I'll put up a couple links up top now. Actually, everybody in the space are big boys. They know they can go to the profile and just see it right there. So join. And if you are listening as the recording, I will post a link down below in the comments. Please come hang out. And what about the future, guys? Are you guys thinking about opening up like a forum type thing for
What do you
votes?
mean, you guys? You're part of us. You're part
Oh
of us.
I'm not putting up the website. I'm
Well,
going to give
now
you
I'm
the
gonna
Sam,
make
idea.
you.
and you just set up like a some forum or message board. I looked at Discourse one time, or I think it's called Discourse. It's like the system that um like the governance, like the Tezos governance stuff. What's Tezos on Tezos Agora, whatever. Like that specific forum software was. it wasn't like super expensive. I think it was like a few $100 a year or something like that. I thought it was kind of like a little silly. Um, I might be, maybe might be misremembering, but like, yeah, there's plenty of solutions out there, but yeah, it doesn't need to be fancy.
Well,
I actually really like not having to necessarily go into Discord to like participate. Telegram's Telegram's fine, but like I do like like the web 2-ish style of communicating like with message boards and forums. I think I grew up on those, so like I don't ever mind signing up for
you know,
those.
I'm not the biggest fan of the way Discourse handles their communication threads because you get one person that writes and then just like it's this weird broken line of communication if you're reading through it. I'm also I
Yeah.
actually think that every kind of like chat communication organization app is flawed today, but weirdly enough, as much as I'm not the biggest fan of Discord, Slack is just messed up beyond belief. It is so confusing with different organizations. You don't have one login handle. I can't stand it for the life of me. But um, Discord is organized. At least it is regimentedly organized. So we've got our Discord, and it's segmented for different conversations. So if you want to talk about lending or borrowing or governance and stuff like that, like you can do that there, or just talk about it openly in the Telegram chat. It's for everything.
I can't be
Yeah,
leaking my alpha all over the place like that, you guys.
yeah,
I'm just
right?
kidding.
No, I'm with Klick actually on this, and that's why I brought it up, is because I totally agree with Klick, and I think a lot of devs feel the same way as well. Like a lot of the really nerdy people, right? The people writing these codes, we like hanging out in forums. we, it's how we grew up talking. So I think that's something we should definitely do. Get something up for voting once we get the thing live and everything, the platform. Thank you, Klick, for coming, and thank you, Breeze, too.
You thank Breeze twice because he sent me a link to the space, and I was like, "Oh, that looks interesting. I'll jump in."
Oh
Um,
yeah, they'll definitely thank Breeze twice. He showed up at work. I know Crypt King is here at work as well. So thank you guys, and I'm absolutely glad to be of service and hopefully keep you somewhat entertained or educated while you guys are, doing your tasks. But Klick, you had some great questions, and yeah, I'm glad we got to touch on even some a little more drama-y stuff, right? Because it needs to be
Look,
talked
I
about
I can
somewhat.
I can lob grenades at whatever. These guys, they still got they still got like their business suits on and shit. So like, I get it. I got no
Yep,
problem.
and
Yeah, dude, you know what? I even I said something funny the other day. It was Baking Benjamins. He posted a tweet and it said something like hire from within the Tezos community, like we know best or so. Or, yeah, I don't know what remember what it was something about hiring from within the Tezos community. And I back in November, end of November, I think Trilitech had reached out to me and they were wondering if I was interested in the US community lead position, and I was like, yeah, I am. And so we set up an interview, and I did the interview, did it well. It was I couldn't have thought of like I couldn't have written the job description better for myself than what was already there. Like, and I don't know. I thought this was like that position would have been is kind of like one of those things that you like working towards but not really. I don't know, it's I thought it would be a good like step up for me, and I thought that I was kind of like perfect for the job, honestly. And like I told them that like they're not going to find a more like qualified person to be the the Tezos community lead for like the
I agree
US.
with
And
that.
like yeah, like it's a little cocky maybe, but like I nailed that shit. And then they went with I don't know, they decided to go with someone else, and like I don't know, man. I was gonna fucking bring them some culture. I was gonna make that. I was gonna fucking make some waves in there, and they didn't. So when I saw Baking Benjamin's tweet, I said it's not too late, Trilitech, and I tagged them like in it, kind of as like a joke, but you know It's all good. I was only salty for a few days and I moved on.
Well, that
But
explains a lot of that explains a bit of the backstory there, because I thought there was something there but wasn't sure of it. But there's something I actually just did notice, Klick, is your PFP, which has kind of got me laughing because so I moved to the UAE. I'm not sure when the last time we spoke a long time.
Oh, did I rug?
Oh, hopefully. I was just about to say, did I rug? I panicked. I just had a heart attack thinking my internet went out again. No, he rugged, which means we're probably on our way out of this space, right?
If he's back,
ran.
I see his mic went on. Are you there, Mr. Alex?
I'm looking at him, and he's not.
How's he look? What's he wearing?
He's wearing a Lululemon charcoal gray polo.
Nice.
He is always wearing those polos. I respect it.
They're
You still there,
so
Alex, or are we
comfy.
rugging?
Well, the story behind my PFP is I'm not sure what it is. I had a few friends who had started rocking these, and most of the time on like different PFPs, not like pictures of themselves, but I'm usually rocking a human PFP, and so I had been rocking my previous one for quite a while, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna put this on, and then the Mog glasses, of course, like if you don't own any Mog, you should go buy some Mog and just have it. It's a culture. It's for the culture, okay? And that is financial advice. I am performing my fiduciary duty to all of you, and
I'm
yeah.
back. I think I'm back. You hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
All right.
Sorry, I was just giving financial advice. You left off on you just moved back to the UAE or something like that, or you
Yeah.
moved away.
Just moved to, but it was funny because you just said you're giving financial advice. Maven is not a trading platform, as much as people think we have a DEX. We are a lending and borrowing platform, and so governance can technically install a DEX and add that to the contracts. We have upgradable smart contracts, believe it or not, but I will save that little alpha for a later day. But yeah, Klick. So I moved to the UAE, and the Emirati kandura is like it's basically a Middle Eastern suit, like that, the big robes that they wear, and the headpiece. So my wife for my birthday actually bought me a kandura, like an actual authentic tailored kandura from a local shop, and needless to say, so I look really white to some people who are white, but then I'm half Middle Eastern actually, so I look really Middle Eastern to Middle Easterners. And when I put on a kandura for the entire get up with the headpiece and everything and the robes, I look like an authentic old Iranian or Arab guy, and it is hilarious. Because all of a sudden you go from sneakers and Lululemons to super Middle Eastern, and I can pass on either side. Benefits of
Dude, that's funny, man. Because I present as like a pretty vanilla white person, but I'm if you were to like see my father, he is very much not white looking at all. He's very 'cause we're Native American, and at least on my dad's side. My mom's side is Caucasian, whatever.
I could tell from your
But
PFP.
yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's funny. But yeah, I don't normally like if I'm not like having like a conversation with someone that's like that I care about, I generally don't even like bring up the fact that I'm Native American, because I know like everyone, like Elizabeth Warren kind of ruined that thing for a lot of people, where it's like I don't want anyone thinking that like I'm like my grandmother was 1/16th Cherokee, so I'm I really identify with the Native Americans. It's been a huge part of my life, and like no, it's um and my favorite joke about being Native is people ask me a lot of people ask me if I get like benefits from the tribe and stuff like that, and I don't have a I'm not don't have my tribal ID card. My dad does, but so like I tell people I'm not really native enough to like get a lot of benefits or anything like that for it, but I am native enough to know what like generational alcohol abuse and reservation life looks like. So, and I got I'm a type 1 diabetic, as you guys all know, and like that's another cool thing about Native Americans. They have a much higher propensity to be diabetic than your average white person.
Dang,
So,
I didn't know that, but it's
yeah.
you got to be proud of your heritage. I mean, we've gone to a place. This is not a political kind of Twitter space, but I love politics, especially with my background. But um,
Because
it's
everything is politics at the end. Like it really is. Like almost everything is politics. When people, yeah. Sorry, but I mean,
well, when you get out of the U.S., like people just live their lives instead of living in identity politics. So there's a whole world out there of non Karens, right? But literally a whole world out there of non Karens. But like, look, like I'm Jewish on both sides. I'm European American on one, and like Middle Eastern Iranian on the other, and and you just kind of got to be proud of it. But you mentioned. Um, what is it like? You don't have your tribe card. I thought you were joking at first, but apparently, I mean, from the way you continued that conversation, apparently there are tribe cards, which reminds me, or like you're getting paid from the tribe, and like all sorts of conspiracies. Sam, we need tribe cards, like son of Abraham cards or something. No, Sam's sitting here shaking his head like we need HR right now.
it's gonna get us canceled, girl. You're gonna get us
Wait.
canceled.
No, but that's the beauty of DeFi. It's like you should have the ability to have an opinion. You should have control over your life. You should have control over your finances. And so that's kind of what we're here building is you should have the freedom to do as you please.
I'm
Uh,
an
Within reason.
Italian guy. I'm an Italian
Astros.
guy with links, literally blood links to Rome. So I'm just gonna be quiet and yeah, you guys are welcome for sewers. I'm just gonna go chill and not get canceled over here.
any of you guys got tips for Vegas? I'm gonna be there on Friday. Just
Diversify. Do not
diversify.
put all your
I
assets on
gamble at
red.
every casino, not just one.
No, do not put all your assets on like one card on one spot in roulette. But Theo, you said something. Sorry, Klick. But just Theo, I heard a joke the other day that was just hilarious and made Sam keel over in laughter. But do you know what mashed potatoes are?
Like mashed potatoes, like
Mm-hmm.
the
The
food.
food, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Irish version of guacamole.
Dude, I love
That's
mashed
good.
potatoes.
I love mashed potatoes, dude. That's good though. I mean, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
so, dude, I have one thing I want to share real quick because it's just like this is hilarious to me because I don't know, my life is strange. I about 2 weeks ago, I went on a date and hung out with this girl hadn't met her before. We were just talking, and we had a nice time. I saw her again a couple days after that. And this last weekend, we were one of the things I talked about with her was like some of the traveling that I'd done for like work. Like went to Paris and New York, and I lived out in Seattle, and I've been around a little bit, but not a lot. And she has not been really done any traveling either, but she really wants to do stuff, and he messages me a picture of the Google flight thing, and it's like the fly from Fargo to Vegas, and there was like I don't know, it's like $400 or something, and I'm just like look, that looks like fun. I don't really have like any money that I like. I'm all virtually broke. Like I don't have any money I can spend on that. But happy to go on an adventure at some point in the near future. And then she's like, "Well, what if I paid for it?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, okay, you pay for the ticket, but then you still need to pay for like everything, like literally everything else after that." And she's like, "I don't know." Then like a half hour later, she messages me and says she needs my information for the ticket, and I'm like, "All right, like let's go, I guess, if you're gonna like pay for literally everything, you know, and then she's not gonna have to pay for literally everything, but like I need to set that expectation because like I don't really have any money to spare, you know. But yeah, so I went on a couple dates with a girl, and now we're going to Vegas for the weekend, and I don't know, it was fun.
Damn,
Life's fun.
she's taking you to Vegas. So
I know, bro. I know,
that's
dude.
usually the other way around.
Got a like a sugar mama situation on my hands apparently. So
Enjoy
yeah,
it. Enjoy it.
thank you.
Yeah, Sam and I are like 17 hours away from Vegas, so they are opening a casino near us, an hour and a half away, but they haven't broke ground on it yet, so um, it'll be a
Dude,
My
while.
honest my honest piece of advice, Klick, would be to reach out to Tezos Gaming.
is he in
He
Vegas?
he everything he grew up in Vegas. He's in Arizona now, but everything he knows about life was born at the poker table. So he knows a lot about it and a lot of cool places to go, and he'll hook you up if you reach out and let him know you're going.
Right on. I haven't talked to him in a minute. I'll hit him up. Dude,
Yeah, I just degen into things. Like I don't have time for games of chance, you know, like playing poker, blackjack, and stuff. I like blackjack used to be fun, but
I like
when you're in
blackjack.
crypto, I feel like you're already. It's. I don't want to call it gambling because we're building a serious
Oh,
product, right? But
yeah.
like, but when you're in this field, there's enough speculation for the rest of my life.
Did you guys dabble in any of the Solana shitcoinery? Because
No,
that
I've
shit
been largely.
that's the craziest like shit ever, man. Like these numbers, like I don't know how they can possibly be real. Like dude, like, and since everything's like free to do on Solana, like, 'cause, like transactions are virtually free, dude. Like, people will like they'll fucking yeet the whole LP for like a $5 profit, bro. Like, it's wild, man. I played around in it for like half a week, and I was like, I'm not really making any money, and this is just like pure and utter nonsense. But you know. It is what it is. It's fun.
I belong to an NFT, a really great NFT community out here called ArtsDAO, and I know the founders from before they
Are
started the
you involved
platform
with
there.
the conference that they're doing in is it next month or is it in March?
ArtsDAO
No,
Fest.
it's April 20th. Isn't it on 420 or something like that?
It would so not be surprising if that was on 420 in a country where weed is not legal. But
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is because Pingu, he does the he runs a big space, and I'm friends with him, and he's going to be speaking at that, and he was like complaining about how he's like, you guys are going to try and get me stoned on 420 in a place where I can't get stoned ever, like. And I don't know, but yeah, I was just curious because I know who the woman who kind of seems to be spearheading the getting speakers and stuff like
who?
that in place. Her name is Mary Ann. I think she's from Lebanon. um
I think I know the founders. I went to the website now. But maybe
It's not
she's
too
like
important, I guess. I was just I have heard of the ArtsDAO, and I think they're doing like ArtsDAO Fest or something like that. I think that's what it's called. Oh.
they do it. So they did one ArtsDAO Fest last year, and then now they're doing their second ArtsDAO Fest. I'm definitely going to be there. Whether Maven does something there or not is a great question. But we are very close to the ArtsDAO team. So I mean, it's April 20th and 21st.
Dude,
Um,
tell them I'll speak. They just fly me out there. I want to come hang out.
they have so many sponsors this year. Actually, I'm looking at this now. It is insane. I think it's going to blow away what it was last year, but it is So anyway, well, on the ArtsDAO bit, so we have these like little calls to talk about what's going on in the crypto ecosystem and degenning into things, and so there's some of them are just so into Solana. I mean, when you like, yes, there's a lot of Solana shitcoinery, and it kind of reminds me of just like the ETH world back in the day, but the interesting thing to see about Solana is that there are so many people that are just looking to either build or buy into it or invest or do anything. And so like there's a proper, now it might be shitcoinery, but there's a proper how do I put this, ecosystem of people there. They might be degens all around, don't get me wrong, but that's how things start. You need a community, you need an ecosystem, you need to provide growth, you need to provide hope. Hope is probably one of the most strongest kind of things out there. But I was actually at an ArtsDAO event speaking about the future of tokenization and RWAs. It was in Bybit's office in downtown, I think it was the World Trade Center in Dubai. And so someone from Solana was there because they were hosting, and then Bybit and ArtsDAO and me and two other people. And so I had preloaded the Solana like network status just to like have it, as I like to be controversial and playful on stage. And so I like preloaded the network status to be like, oh, Solana, like, is the network up right now? Let me check, and like to go look at it. They got a good laugh out of that, and then maybe wanted to stab me. But yeah, you got into
Solana actually hasn't gone like down in like over a year now, I think, or something like that, right? They've
it's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time. I was at the LA Blockchain Summit last year, and someone out there, I was with some guys who were building on Algorand. This is before Algorand, took off really. And someone's like, yeah, well, Solana, it's like, okay, Solana goes down for like a little bit. And then, but ETH has like 12-second block time. So it's basically ETH goes down every 12 seconds. And I was like, all of us just stared looking at him like, that's not the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think that means what you think it means, buddy. Like,
yeah, this is not the win you think it is.
Burn. Yeah, no, that's funny. That's really cool though. I hadn't heard of ArtsDAO before. I saw like this Marianne kind of like posting about it on Twitter and inviting a few people, like the kind of like obvious ones from like the ETH side of things, like the kind of the influencers. um and so I wasn't like, I don't know, I wasn't sure what to think of it, but if more bullish on it if you guys are involved as well. Like, I think because I know you guys aren't clowns, so that's
thank you. I mean, I'm really close to the team, and I'm really close to some of the guys that are there. So what I have to say is that when it comes to building a community, I am amazed at what they've done. I mean, people like, it's NFTs, it's Dubai, it's, people have said that they're just clowning around by doing all this, but they've actually built a community that meets up all the time, that talks about their NFTs. I mean, it's I was going to say something else, but I'll keep it's political. I'll keep the politics out, but they get together for like alpha calls on Zoom. They get together on weekends. I mean, I didn't really go into this. I didn't announce it on Twitter, but I recently lost a parent, and two of the founders who I'm really, really close to, that same night came over immediately. Like the night I spent that night I spent with them. And so it's, they've built a absolute community of people that get together on weekends, talk about alpha, have picnics. I mean, it is astounding to see a community in real life act this way. And so it's pretty cool to watch. It's pretty cool to be a part of.
Oh yeah, man, that's cool.
All right, guys. Hey, that
sounds
being
like it's
said,
not cringe.
well, it sounds really awesome, actually.
Well,
I didn't know nothing about it until this space when you guys started talking about it, but I'm gonna look it up myself. I'm gonna encourage everybody else to look it up, and we're unfortunately we're gonna wrap up the space. We're an hour and a half in. It's been
Do
a
your
really
job,
great
bro. You
space.
said you were gonna close this a half hour ago. Get it
Yeah,
together.
I know, right? I was trying. I know, failing.
Klick, you
I
started
have to close
talking
it
about
before the 2 hour
Solana
mark.
degen stuff.
I
And all of
know.
a sudden, it got my
It's
blood going
DeFi.
on DeFi.
Feel a
Finally,
little
Twitter
hot and
Spaces
bothered
about
all of a
DeFi.
sudden.
I know. Well, we're gonna do this every Monday, right? So every Monday at 5 p.m. UTC. And I wanted to ask you, Klick, are you still? Where are you in the world? Are you West Coast right now, or where
No,
are you at?
I'm Central Coast. West
Okay.
Central Coast is the best coast.
Not bad in the middle. The one
What
that
is
survives the apocalypse.
what is
What?
Central Coast?
Central time. I just say Central. The best is I'm like verbal shit posting right now. I'm Central time, Central Standard
He's
Time.
not. You know what? I
What
didn't even think anything of it because the river is right there. But there's somewhat it's a little the baby coast, but you could call it a coast, right?
what? Wait, Klick. What city are you in?
I'm not in a city. It's more like
What's
a
your
town.
address? What time are
No,
you gonna be
I'm
home?
in Roseau County in Minnesota. It's as far north as you can get. I right now I'm about 6 miles or so from the Canadian border. Like that's if you when you look at the map and you see like that small tip of Minnesota that looks like it goes into Canada or something. That's I'm pretty much at like the base of that tip. There's one area that's technically in the United States that's further north, but you have to take like a boat through Canada to get to it. And so, the town I'm in Warroad. It's a town about 1,500 people, 1,800 people. I don't fucking know. I don't like talking to people in Warroad. And I yeah, I grew up here, and I had been living in Fargo, North Dakota, up until this last summer here, and then my girlfriend and I broke up, and the lease on the apartment was ending and everything, so I just came home, and have been kind of like just hanging out, looking for like employment. I feel like it's starting to pick up a little bit. Still kind of looking for like some like more regular like full-time employment, but I've actually picked up my first kind of first couple what I would consider to be like legitimate sort of like consulting or advising opportunities. Like there's I've been working on some stuff for a wallet company, the startup that's building like a new crypto wallet, and which is like nothing that's not really that exciting, but they're doing some cool things with it. Like they got like ZK proof types of stuff that they're working on integrating, and it's gonna have like like a social layer or like login stuff, and etc. I gotta. That's what I actually got to finish this week before I go to Vegas. Is I got really want to get this document sent over to them and get all that done. But
Well,
yeah, so
Klick.
that's been my life.
I gotta run. So and when I leave, the space will close. But so let's wrap this up. But also, you are that close to Canada. Do you say A?
Uh, Not really. No. It, A is like a pretty distinctly Canadian thing. And if you hear them say the word about, they go about, or like batteries or batteries. Garage, like that type. That's Canadian
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, I don't notice my own accent until I hear someone else from Minnesota speak, and I'm like, oh yeah, that guy sounds like he's from Minnesota. And then it's like, then you get like this weird Swedish vibe too, like old Swedish grandmother, like, oh yeah, don't you know, like shit like that.
Well, well, I'm a hockey player, so I'm used to the whole Canadian side of things. But now I guess it's more about the like da niet
Dude,
spasiba shoot.
Canadian dude,
But
hockey players have the best slang, bro. You guys have the best
they
like
do.
slang. It's so good.
They do, but I'm gonna leave it with this tidbit because I got to run onto another call. But no U.S. Olympic men's hockey team has ever won a gold medal without a player from Warwood, Minnesota.
Yeah,
So
bro.
take that
Yeah.
with you to bed tonight, and well, it's night for us, but enjoy
Facts.
the day.
Yeah.
Theo,
Hey, all right.
let's
Alex.
wrap up.
Yeah. Let me do let me close it out right here. So yeah, if you guys are interested in being, a part of the journey, Join our Discord, join our Telegram. I put the Discord down below. The GhostNet Dapp is live, so go on there, test it out. If there's any issues, let us know. Play around with it. Yeah, and if you share your opinions, let's talk about it. Get conversation going on, what real world assets do we want to vote for to have represented in Maven. These are all conversations we should definitely get started. So hop in the Discord or Telegram, either one. Yeah, and let's just get talking. And like I said, we'll do this every Monday as well. So if you're available, come out, ask us questions live. We will be doing it at 5 p.m. UTC. And hopefully it's a good time for everybody. We're flexible, so let us know. Let's click. That's why I asked. I'm not sure if it's maybe a little too early for the West Coast guys, but we'll play with it 1 week at a time. So come back. Next week we'll probably, off the top of my head, just deciding right now, we'll probably do like more of a deep dive into like the MVN tokens or in staking. So come back. We'll do a deep dive, and I'm gonna put together a schedule as well that will give you an idea of what we're going to be talking about in advance. So if you have specific questions on lending or the governance, which we haven't even touched on at all. So maybe actually changing my mind right here in the outro, next week we'll be talking about the governance and going into all the aspects that we didn't get to talk about today. And yeah, I'll give you guys a schedule for the specific stuff if you're interested in anything specifically. But in the meantime, like I said up top, join our Discord, join our Telegram, and everybody have a great day. And thanks again for those who coming out and those listening to the recording. Thanks, thanks everybody. Thanks, Priest.
Great to see y'all again.
Talk to you guys soon.